once again to Synergy Bonus. This evening we will be talking about Little Nemo the Dream Master, or as it is known in Japan, Pajama Hero Nemo.
Shazama Pajama.
Shazama Pajama. Based on the movie Little Nemo Adventures in Slumberland, which is in turn based on the comic strip that ran in the New York Herald, Little Nemo in Slumberland, 1905 to 1926.
Better than Prince Valiant.
Yes.
Much.
And
Did way more for artwork, has had way more cultural impact. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the video game.
we are. Which came out in 1990 by a company who we love to hate nowadays, Capcom.
Capcom, you're basically the less stupid Konami.
Are we just tagging all of our videos anti-Capcom now? 'Cause-
We are now.
all right.
I propose hashtag fuck you Capcom.
All right.
Hashtag fuck you Capcom. Got it.
Spoonie here has had a bad day today, so we're taking a break from our usual beer fest to break out the fine Irish whiskey. This is, well, top shelf. I don't know about fine. This is Tullamore Dew.
Tully.
Yep, Tully's. It's great. It comes in the bottle with the green cap. It's smooth. It's tasty. It's good stuff when you're having a bad day.
It really is. And
You know what else is good when you're having a bad day? Little Nemo the Dream Master.
Yes, until we get to the hard part.
The waterfall, right?
No, that's...
The train.
No, the waterfall is Contra. You're thinking Contra.
The waterfall's not a
Nightmare
bad stage.
Man
I've
2.
gone through that without dying.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, Little Nemo is a 2D side-scrolling platformer. Basically, Nemo gets animal companions to help his way through
Whoa, step back.
times.
Hi, Kirby.
Okay. Little Nemo is our title character. He's just this little kid.
Who's been invited by Princess Camille to be her playmate.
Or is it chamomile?
Camille.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a play on chamomile, but it's Camille.
Could be just the name because it's...
To be her playmate in Slumberland. This is referencing the comic where the original plot that took him for the first half of the thing was that King Morpheus summoned him to Dreamland to become Camille's playmate. Only Flip the Clown and his parents kept waking him up.
Neil Gaiman just kept writing.
Once Nemo arrives in Dreamland, he's met by Flip, who says that there are animal companions who, if you feed candy, they will help him on his journey.
Brassers?
Well, maybe it's an opportunity to just throw peppermints at Greg.
Right. I wish I had peppermints. It's kind of interesting though, because when you do feed the animals candy, you either one just put on their skin, or two, you ride them in their freaking sugar coma state. Their eyes are just closed, and you are just riding them.
These are really roofie covered candies.
As far as animal companions go, we have a frog, a lizard, a mole, a gorilla, a bee, a mouse, a crab, and a fish.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
No, there is no.
And that's because the Partridge Family wouldn't let the youngest one near them.
That's probably for the best.
Throughout the game, actually through most of the game, your only real weapon is your candy.
Which isn't a weapon, it's a brief stun for about a second and a half for most enemies.
Some of your attacks come from your animal companions. The frog...
All of your attacks come from your...
Not all of
Not
them.
every animal companion has an attack. But up until the last stages of the game, all of your attacks come from your animal companions.
The frog allows you to jump on people.
Mario style.
The lizard has no attack ability, but it allows you to climb walls.
Also slip through small spaces.
Yep. The mole, which is only in one stage, and it's the first stage, allows you to dig, and that's it. You can't even jump on the mole.
He does run a little bit faster than Nemo, but since he doesn't jump, and after the digging there's a pit,
The gorilla allows you to punch things and climb things, and it has the largest health bar of all the animal companions.
The gorilla, by and large, is one of the most useful animal companions. As he said, large health bar, he punches, he does the most damage while punching. Mm-hmm. He's also the biggest sprite in the game, and he feels slow and clumsy because of it.
You're basically wearing Donkey Kong as the skin.
And he's only limited to the Flower Garden stage, if
I think there's one more stage where he's in there, but that's where that's the stage where he's predominantly and where he shines.
The bee allows you to fly, and you can use the stinger.
The bee will be your constant companion throughout the game. With the limited flights, the shooting of the stinger, the slightly longer lifeline, and the fact that after stage 2, excluding stage 3, he's in basically every stage.
Technically, you would only get one use of the stinger out of the bee.
Nope, it's like Mega Man. You can shoot 3 stingers and then you have to rest. Bzz, bzz, bzz.
You have a really short reload time.
I know.
The mouse is identical to the lizard.
Except you get a croquet mallet.
Yep, and the sprite is slightly bigger.
So you can't slip through the small passageways.
Yeah. The crab has 2 attacks. It's got the front claw attack, and it's got this weird dive mechanic. Which I actually don't think that's an attack. I think it
just lets him dig.
It gets through the sand.
But it's another digging thing, but it's not as clean and clear as the mole digging. The mole digs a clear path a la Dig Dug.
Mm-hmm. This you kind of look like a little
kind of
tornado.
move through the sand, and there's no tunnel behind you, so you just kind of digging blindly, hoping you find the keys.
But it's not too hard to navigate. I mean, there's a definite animation for where you are. And then there's the fish, which has no attack, but it has the same life bar as the gorilla.
And it swims really well.
And, yeah.
Use the crab, it's better. For the underwater stuff.
The game's broken into 8 stages, with the last area, level 8, having 3 separate stages to it. And once you get to the last stage, that's when you get your first and only real weapon in the game.
Yeah.
It's the Dream Scepter?
Dream Scepter.
The Dream Scepter. And
now it's been on Nemo's back the whole time because sprites.
And the first time I played this game, I didn't realize that you could charge the scepter. So when I got to the first boss, who was the first
Penguin King.
The Penguin King in the first level of the last stage, I just took that scepter and hit the button and just whacked him, and it took forever to kill him.
Also, technically the first boss in the game, because this game, unlike a lot of other platformers at the time, has an interesting mechanic. It's not a straight shot through the level and then a boss fight. It's actually very close to open world exploration within the level, in a 2D sense, going up, going down. Going
it's a scavenger hunt.
It's a scavenger hunt.
Shitty level.
What's that?
We'll get to that. For a bunch of keys that unlock the door at the end.
Most stages have 6 keys to progress, with the exception of stage 7.
One has like 7.
Yeah, stage 7 has 7 keys. I think the
It has 7 locks. Keep going.
No, there's 7 keys for that one, I believe.
Yeah. No, the point I'm making is that there are more keys than lock in the House of Toys.
Is there? Oh yeah. Well, we're gonna get to the House of Toys.
Asterisk.
And the Night Sea, I think, has less keys than any other stage too.
Only 5.
The House of Toys is probably one of the most notoriously hard stages in this game.
It's not just notorious for this game, it's notorious for this system. It's one of the things that people think of when they see any NES system and you talk about Nintendo Heart.
And Little Nemo in particular.
And it's become synonymous with Little Nemo the Dream Master. It's right up there with the Battletoads Turbo Tunnel. And it's way out of place in a game that is otherwise completely about free-range exploration and a treasure hunt to find these keys to unlock these doors. You get on the back of this toy train in a children's playroom.
And it's an auto-scroll stage.
It's a fully auto-scroll stage that becomes a bullet hell stage as these little toy planes dive bomb you and these blimps float by and drop bombs. And
there's spikes
and if that's not bad enough, it's crushing ceilings with spikes. Mm-hmm. Now, we mentioned a second ago that they put extra keys in this level.
This stage has 9.
So it has 9 keys to unlock 6 locks because you're probably going to miss some the first couple of times you play through it. And they gave you a few extras to help you not get stuck at the end. But it's also the only stage where when you get to the end, you can't go back because of the auto scroll.
Right. So
it is entirely possible to get to the end without enough keys.
And if you don't have enough keys, you might as well restart the game because there's no way to do it.
There's no might as well. You have to reset. You push that reset button, you're done.
Yeah. There's no time limit.
There's no time limit. You can't otherwise die because there's no more enemies at this point.
And there's also no checkpoint in this stage, unlch other stages.
Most video stages have a checkpoint.
So it's basically a one and done.
Yep. You have to make it all the way through, one shot, get enough keys, because they have more than enough in there, and it feels like a huge sense of achievement when you do.
Now, this stage in particular, though, actually all the stages, but it's a nice feature. When you die, you keep the keys that you found in the stage. So if you happen to get close to the end and you have your 6 keys, and you die, it's all you got to do is just get to the end. Sucks to be you if you have no lives, but I believe 0 counts.
Yeah.
That was a big thing in the NES, does 0 count.
Yep. 0 does count this one, and it actually has 2 1-ups hidden in it, but one of them is a trap.
They're not hidden. They're very
they're very
obvious, but one is definitely
the
a trap.
more obvious a 1-up is, the more likely it is a trap.
Mm-hmm. I've actually gotten both, but you have to be really quick about it. There's another auto-scroll stage, but it's only half a stage, and that's the Cloud Ruins. And it's a vertical auto scroll, and you have
it's
to
only
use...
for sections. It's not the whole stage.
Right, that's why I said it's about a half stage of auto scroll, and you have to use the B. And I don't think we touched on this with the B.
You have to use the B, but it makes it much easier.
No, it's impossible without the B because
if you fall too fast. Yeah.
No, there's the way the clouds are
going up.
spaced.
I was thinking the second part would be coming back down.
No, the B has limited flight time, so you've only got so many seconds to fly, and then you got to land on a platform, and it instant recharges. But the problem is the stage is scrolling so fast, so you've got to know where the platforms are to land and then just take off again. It's not a bad stage. It's not as bad as House of Toys, but it can be annoying. And the last stage that I think is probably the most difficult is the waterfall in Nightmare Land.
All the knows a waterfall.
Yeah, I remembered it after the fact, after I said it was Contra, but no. I've watched people online struggle with this and whatnot. I'm like, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one who did. It is a miserable stage, and the boss of the...
It breaks the old Nintendo rule of hard stage, easy boss, easy stage, hard boss. Because
this
is
is
a hard stage with a bullshit boss.
It's a manta ray that flies around, and it basically sprays fire at random.
It flies around, it hovers at the top of the screen, so you have to charge up your scepter to shoot energy shots at it, and you can't move while you're charging the scepter.
So when I was younger, if
and
I never
flings
learned...
its tail like a stingray, well, not like a stingray because it flings under rather than over, and it shoots these little fireballs that look like they've been lifted straight from Super Mario's sprite sheet down at you. And you have to choose, are you going to take the hit and get the shot off, or are you going to dodge and risk missing with the charged shot?
And as I was saying there, if I never learned when I was younger that you could charge the scepter, this fight would have been
impossible.
Almost impossible.
I don't think
he does come low enough, but he flies really fast, because I was actually playing this recently.
Well, that and hitting stuff with the scepter does significantly less damage.
Charge. It would take a long time, and you really got to do the dance of dodging.
And after you've beaten the flying manta ray, the Nightmare King himself is actually a much simpler, much easier fight. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of an anticlimactic finish. The
stage
isn't the penultimate boss. Here's the cakewalk.
The Stingray really is the last boss of the game. Is what it comes down to.
The final stage of Nightmare Land isn't too terribly hard, and it's got some good visuals in it, because as you're going through the stage,
the whole game has great visuals, but Nightmare Land is beautiful.
Well, I'm in the first stage of Nightmare Land. You got the glowing trees and everything, but I'm thinking about the final stage there, when you're going along, and then there's the Nightmare King. He's just sitting there, just kind of looking at you
the whole time.
And then you get to him, and it's disappointing, because when he comes out, he is so much smaller than that background picture. And I remember watching the movie, and the Nightmare King is this big, monstrous thing, and like you see him in the background, that's what you're expecting, and nope. You get this little guy. I mean, the music's super catchy, too. Like, all the music in this game was just great.
The one that's going to get stuck in your head is House of Toys, because you're on that
level
level for so long. But, yeah.
There are days when I can do it in one try, and then there's other days where I am just swearing and just getting angry because it's not working.
This is a broken controller kind of game.
I've never broken a controller.
Well, that's because Nintendo products are built to last.
Yeah,
but I've never necessarily always the case.
No, it's actually...
They are. They're very durable.
Nintendo does not advertise this fact, and they should, so which is why we're going to take a second to say it right now. They build their material and their equipment so that you can throw it down a flight of stairs, pick it up, and play it again. This is actually like an actual test for some of their stuff.
Actually, like X-Play did it back in the 90s when the PlayStation 2, the Xbox One, not one, but
Xbox One, which comes out of the box with a red ring.
The original
PlayStation
Xbox
2, which
and the GameCube, they
stops working when you look at it funny.
They got on top of a 3-story building,
And they dropped
threw
stuff.
them off.
Yep.
The Xbox, PlayStation were just destroyed.
Completely
The top
The
of
GameCube
the game
just-
just busted off, so it wouldn't close.
Still played.
Still played the
Still
game.
play the games.
Yep.
And that Nintendo just does this as a matter of course. It's part of their business strategy, business plan. And hey, Microsoft and Sony, that!
I was talking about the super shot, how that breaks very easily.
Yeah. Actually, with the Wii, where I work in one in particular, one of my clients had a Wii, and he accidentally dropped it down the stairs. It busted the front one out. Played that it worked. So,
Yep.
like, I've seen the meme online, you know, you look at it wrong, the 360 red rings, you drop a TV
It also
on an
lights your house
N60,
on fire.
you drop a TV on an N64 like it gives a crap. I
I
mean,
was going to say N64, the only thing tougher than a Nokia.
it's probably made of the same
And the
material.
controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Except that little joystick wears out after about 20 minutes.
That's because people do this.
For Mario
It's because a lot
Party.
of the games...
Mario
just
Party.
Mario Party. Like, I played a lot of Majora's Mask, and it wore out the joystick just as fine.
Speaking of controls and controllers and whatnot, Little Nemo controls really well.
Amazingly well. Tight
Um,
controls.
That
It's
was
the
a
kind
kind
of
of
stuff Capcom was good at back in the
Capcom
day.
had a staple for good quality games, good control, good music, good everything.
I mean, for the dark
Not so much-
content of a kid having
Okay.
nightmares, this is a really bright and colorful and fun game. The enemies are a little bland, but they should be.
Yeah.
You know,
Some enemies are kind of neat looking.
oh, they're neat looking, but like the color palettes, you've got
Yeah.
like the little buzzsaw head guy that falls down. They're always like bone white.
Mhm.
You've got the purplish kind of snail guy that comes out, which is 2 shades of purple. He's okay. You've got the weird little flying critter that spits olives at you. If it's supposed to be a flying turtle that spits its shell at you, but
Okay.
god damn it, those look like green olives without the palmetto pits. You know? But they all are very muted, very backgroundy, very earth tony colors for the
That's
most part.
true.
And the rest of the game, all of the good things you encounter are bright and vibrant and awesome.
Each stage is really bright and vibrant and awesome. The first stage, the mushroom forest, the colors of the mushrooms and whatnot, it catches the feel that it was going for. They use a lot of different color palettes in that stage.
The City in the Clouds is kind of bland.
Kind of bland.
Well,
House of
it's
Toys
not-
is actually really colorful too.
Bland is the wrong word. It uses a lot of oranges and blues, which is a weird contrast to try to get that sort of sunset kind of feel to it. And I guess orange and blue are technically complementary colors, but the overall effect compared to the rest of the game is very unfinished looking.
Yeah.
I guess it gives a level of kind of an impressionistic look, but it just feels unfinished.
Topsy Turvy.
A lot of dark blacks and golds.
Golds. It's a lot of yellows and golds and whatnot. And
We call this the Purdue University stage. Boiler up!
I was actually thinking about Nemo's house in particular, using some more different color palettes. And
That
And
one's all
this-
over the place.
this game actually, it's really imaginative with the stages, and it fits the theme of the game, the whole dreamscape. And
Yeah, a little kid having all these crazy dreams, but it also follows fairly well a lot of the published adventures from the comics. Nemo being tiny, Nemo being in a fantastic garden, Nemo being in a forest full of mushrooms. The only one it misses is there's a couple of rather famous strips where Nemo is a giant going through popular cities. He takes a tour through New York City as a giant at one point in time.
even Phil Collins in Genesis, they did a song about Little Nemo,
Yeah.
and it talks about the mushroom forest and everything. So, I mean, it had an impact. It really did.
For a thing that nobody in our generation has ever heard of, this is a cultural icon. Like, if you go to Universal Studios in Florida, they have their cartoon village. Nemo and his walking bed are there.
I would recommend this game to anyone who's a fan of platformers, who's a fan of Nintendo games, who's a fan of Capcom.
Yeah, back when it was good.
With the exception of Chip and Dale 2.
Chip and Dale 2 was alright.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not
Tails
Tailspin.
Another time. But yeah, it's a great game.
A lot of catchy music, a lot of wonderful colors, a lot of memorable characters, both heroes and villains.
For the most part, it's hard where it needs to be hard, and it's never really truly unfair, with the exception, I think, of the House of Toys. I mean,
And the Stingray.
because I mean, getting to the end, not having those keys and having to reset. Yeah, it's only 2 stages, but still, that's 2 stages, and it's a good 5-10 minutes out of your time, depending on how
I mean,
fast
you can tear through the mushroom forest, but the flower garden, just
Takes a little
by
bit.
its design and the fact that you have to go to the outer limits of up and down,
Yep.
left and right, it's
You
a little
have
time
to
consuming.
you have to go underwater in 2 areas. And you have to go up in the trees.
That's something I love about this game. Like back in the old days, if you saw a pit and you went down into it,
You
you were going
usually
to die.
die.
But there were some hidden spots that they looked just like any ordinary pit. In fact, if you went like two blocks over, there was a pit that looked exactly like it that would kill you, but you had to swim down into it to find one of the keys to unlock the door.
Yep.
And it just played with that, and it kind of adds to that sort of dreamy, nightmarish quality, and I love it.
There is a level select to the game if you do happen to get stuck and you want to try the other stages. The only thing is, you can only go up to Nightmare Land. So if you want to get through that second stage of Nightmare Land in the waterfall, you're going to have to do it. And it is
Nightmare
rough.
Land is actually going to require you to know how to play the game.
Yeah.
But if you've
shall we
already
post
beaten the
them?
game before, you can just go and beat the game real
Yep.
fast.
If
Shall,
you feel.
shall we post the advanced code below?
We'll post the code. And he won't. I will. And with that, I think that's good. If you have any suggestions for games that we should talk about, leave us comments. We'd love to hear. We'd love to hear your stories about Little Nemo or any other games that we talk about. So, with that, have a good night.
Good night and good gaming.